Alright everybody, Absolute Power is over and it's time to kick off a new storyline. Just so you know, this arc is going to be a continuation of the events of both the Jeremy Adams Green Lantern book and the Philip Kennedy Johnson Green Lantern War Journal book. So if you haven't read either of those, or you need a refresher, I recommend checking out the playlist of my coverage of both series. But if you're good to go, let's jump right in. Green Lantern Civil Corps Special Number 1 is written by Jeremy Adams and Philip Kennedy Johnson, with art by Salvador Larroca, colors by Luis Guerrero, and letters by Dave Sharp. The title of this issue is The Call to War. John Stewart is on Earth, spending time with his sister Ellie Rose, when they're suddenly attacked. John takes several direct hits of yellow energy fired by Kilowog. I don't know what shocks John more, the fact that Kilowog is alive or that Kilowog is attacking him without mercy. Either way, it gives Kilowog the advantage, and he's able to steal the Dark Star ring from John pretty easily. John wakes up on the Justice League watchtower, surrounded by his friends. Ellie called Lantern Shepherd, who gathered everyone together in what is apparently the Green Lantern wing of this new satellite base. John tells them about Kilowog and the Dark Star Ring, and then Hal tells everyone about Lord Premier Thaaros and what's been happening with the United Planets and the emotional spectrum. The fact that Kilowog is alive and mainlining the wrong part of the emotional spectrum means that this is all Tharos' fault, so exposing him needs to be their top priority. Hal, John, and Carol are going to the planet Thanagar to tell them that Tharos replaced their ambassador with a shape-shifting Durlin. While they're doing that, Guy and Shepard are going to the planet Oa to gather intel and link up with what's left of the Resistance. Before they leave, though, Hal introduces them to everybody's new best friend Jadestone. Hal asks Jadestone to leave the Earth's central battery briefly and come up to the watchtower to meet everybody and bring Guy a new ring. This is one of the small batch of rings that draw power from the central battery on Earth, and is in no way connected to the infrastructure on Oa, meaning that there's nothing Tharos and his minions can do to tamper with it. I love the way Jadestone just takes Guy's old ring away and crushes it in front of him. It's not clear if John also received a new ring. Hal said he asked Jadestone to, quote, bring you new ones, meaning multiple new rings, but we never see John receive one. He shouldn't actually need one, since the ring he started wearing in Green Lantern War Journal was a dead, inert ring that was disconnected from everything. And while they never said this directly, I got the impression it was drawing on John's own power as an ascended being. And Shepard is from another universe, so his ring is off the grid by default. Which means that out of that initial batch of 6 rings, there should still be 4 left. Perfect for Kyle, Jessica, Simon, and Joe. But the Lanterns aren't going anywhere unless they can get past the watchful eye of the Unseeing, the trio of mystics that Tharos has monitoring everything. They make it nearly impossible for anyone to run the blockade around Sector 2814, or to sneak onto Oa unnoticed. So Hal called in a favor. He asked Alan Scott to go distract the Unseeing for a little while, letting the rest of the Earth Lanterns move freely. And Alan really gives them hell. The Unseeing still have the advantage since it's 3 against 1, but Alan is able to match them for a few pages before teleporting away. The interesting thing about this is the fact that not only could the Unseeing tell that Alan was using the Star Heart, but they want the Star Heart so badly that they're willing to abandon Tharos to get it. Which means that the Unseeing may end up branching off and becoming their own unique threat, separate from Tharos and everything else that's been going on. But Alan isn't the only person stirring up trouble on Oa. Guy and Shepard decide that sneaking around will be a lot easier if all the guards had somewhere else to be, so they sneak into the science cells and release Larfleeze. He is a one-man prison riot, and they're key to being able to move freely for a short time. Meanwhile, on Thanagar, Hal's group explains the situation to the local government, complete with evidence and visual aids, only to discover that they'd been sold out to Tharos, who arrives to personally oversee their arrest. This is literally the second time Hal has fallen for this exact trap. This is almost exactly what happened in Green Lantern number 11 and 12, when they tried to expose Tharos to the United Planets Council. And just like that time, a big fight is about to break out, but everyone stops when Carol shoots one of the ambassadors, causing him to revert back to his normal form, exposing him as a Durlin. So now the Thanagarian government knows the truth, but Thaaros doesn't care, because he just needs to kill everyone who could implicate him. Something he can do easily now that he's wearing the Darkstar ring. Thaaros begins to unleash the Radiant Dead, and what exactly does it mean that the Radiant Dead can apparently hear the light singing? Seriously, what the hell is going on with the emotional spectrum right now? The thing that interests me most about this whole issue is the fact that Thaaros even knows what the Darkstar ring is. He sent Kilowog specifically to get it, and it's implied that Thaaros knows more about the ring than John does. Was I right a few issues ago when I speculated about a possible connection between Thaaros and the Darkstars? Maybe, maybe not, but one thing I did get right was that the other members of Tharos' fake United Planets Council didn't like how extreme his methods have become, and aren't willing to go along with it anymore. So they call upon Varon, aka Starshroud, and send him to murder Thaaros, which he apparently does. I thought they would just oppose him politically, not summon a demon from space hell to kill him. But the fight's not over, because you can't put Varon and John Stewart in the same room and expect it to end peacefully. Hal and John attack Starshroud together, but they're not having much luck without the Darkstar ring, which I don't know why one of them didn't just fly down and take it off Tharos' finger. Carol wasn't doing anything, she could have grabbed it and given it back to John. Then dealing with Varon would have been easy. Instead, they come up with a pretty cool yet temporary solution of encasing Starshroud in a bubble that they just keep adding more layers on top of whenever he starts to phase through the existing ones. The rest of the Durlans are headed to Oa to scavenge the technology that let Tharos control the emotions of others, and even cited his experiments on Kelly as being the key to creating it. But he isn't quite dead, and in what might be his final act, Tharos projects energy up into the sky, proclaiming that his rage will have its revenge. And with that, the whole planet begins to shake as Red Mogo arrives. This is a pretty chaotic issue. The writing is okay. It's weaker than what we're used to, but sometimes that just happens when you have two writers collaborating on the same story. There are some narrative contrivances that I'm not thrilled by, like Kilowog being able to defeat John so easily, and the Durlans being able to summon Starshroud like a genie from a lamp, but they tried to pack a lot into this issue, and some of it may make more sense as we go forward. The bigger problem is the art. I'm not gonna mince words here, this issue looks bad. There are some pages and some panels that look good, but the overwhelming majority of this book looks really bad in my opinion. On almost every single page, all of the backgrounds are either blank, or they have some kind of muddy digital texture that looks completely out of place, or they'll have a tiny bit of detail to try and imply the existence of a background, and in all of these cases, it just ends up looking unfinished. And what I find the most disappointing is that there's an entire scene that takes place in what we're told is the Green Lantern wing of the new Justice League Watchtower, but we never see what any of it looks like. They've apparently got a nice kitchen, and there's this one shot of a walkway under Jadestone, but that's it. I don't know why you would bother having this scene take place here if you weren't going to show off this new environment for the first time. It's a complete waste of what could have been a cool moment. And it's not even just the almost total lack of backgrounds. The characters aren't doing too great either. Everyone's head and hairstyles look off, Ellie should not be green like a normal construct, and seriously, what is with this panel of Shepard running? This looks like it was drawn by someone who's never seen a human being run before. Everything about the artwork in this book looks like it was done in a hurry to meet a deadline. And if this is the end result, I wish they delayed the book a few weeks so that it could actually be done right. The next chapter of the story will be in Green Lantern number 16. Hopefully they'll actually take the time to finish that issue so we don't have a repeat of this. So that's the Green Lantern Civil Corps special. What do you think? Are you excited about this storyline? Is Tharos actually going to die? What do you think the Green Lantern wing of the new Justice League Watchtower should look like? Tell me all about it in the comment section down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, so you'll be up to date on all the videos I make, including the continuation of this story. Until next time, let me just say thank you for taking the time to watch. My name is Dan. We'll talk again soon.